All right. Deadman Stone Podcast. Your host, Mr. Deadman. Becky and SK is out tonight. He's busy. He's taking care of some business.
He's wrangling the midgets, isn't he?
Yeah. Let's leave it on a funny note. Yes, he's wrangling the midgets. But he'll be back. Definitely, I think he has a show tomorrow, Real Monster. So definitely check that out.
Right.
Anyway, our guest tonight, the one and only Jeff Menapace.
Yay!
How was that?
Yeah, that was very good. Yeah.
No way.
I'm scared.
Was that actually?
I like the emphasis on the end.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw the name. I was like, man, this needs to be fancied up a bit.
It is pronounced. No, it's pronounced two ways. It's either Menapace or Menapace is the traditional pronunciation. That's what my wife likes, that one. Menapace is usually easier to pronounce, but growing up, like I said, it was often mistaken for menopause, which I got a lot. So
well, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Okay. I probably would have said.
Who was the worst about calling you menopause? Was it one of your coaches? Was it your dad? Was it some?
No, just guys who were just dicks growing up. Guys, just or actually no, I got it a couple times from girls too. I don't know, anyone who I just think it's very close, so it's kind of irresistible. I don't really blame them.
Well, you grew up with this name, so I mean, you must have developed some thick skin from it, right? I mean, someone says like Jeff Menopause.
It wasn't, it wasn't as. Fortunately, I don't think kids are as educated on what menopause is yet until later in life.
No.
So I was spared in my early years. I guess it wasn't too bad,
Okay. Now, what's worse? What do you think would be worse?
So,
Jeff Menopause or Jack Me Off?
Oh my lord!
Yeah, never got that one. But is that what you got? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was just saying there was a kid in high school. His name was Jack, and his last name was Me Off, and it was real.
No, it wasn't. You're full
no.
of shit.
I'm not joking with you. And the coach was like, Jack, no way. And the kid's like, yeah, my last name is Me Off. I was like, there's no freaking way. And all throughout, I had like 2 classes with him, and he kept it going. I mean, he says his last name was Me Off, and the teachers are calling him Me Off.
Well, his parents hated him or something.
I mean, my lord.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Somebody hated him. Whoever, I don't know that name.
But he had a good attitude about it. He found it funny. It was like, he's smart about it, had jokes about it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's either laugh or cry, right?
Yeah, that's all you can really do.
And how do you say your last names?
My last name's Deadman. So it's Jesse Deadman. Or Deadman. My dad says.
Why do you feel the need to tell me all this bullshit? That's not your last name. It can't be.
No.
It is.
No, it is.
Deadman is your last name.
Yeah.
I'm more than a little envious. That's pretty cool.
For a horror writer, right?
Yeah. Deadman.
Could do all sorts of stuff with that name. Could be a cult leader.
Becky, what? Yeah. And Becky, how do you pronounce your last name?
Naren.
Okay. That's easy enough.
Kind of weird though, right?
Naren. It sounds familiar.
Is it not weird?
It's Scottish. No, I'm not saying that word.
An actor?
It's not strange.
So Becky, what you write? You write. What do you call it? What's a form of literature?
Poetry.
Poetry. What's another word for poetry?
Poems.
There we go. We got it. We got to put that in there for SK. He's not here tonight. He needs to hear it. He needs a good laugh.
Deadman. Right. That's really. Is that how you pronounce it too? Deadman, or is it more like Deadman?
It's. I believe it's supposed to be pronounced Deadman. That's how my
Deadman. Okay.
That's what my dad says. But of course we have kind of like discussions about that. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense the way it's spelled. It shouldn't be dead man. No, it's Deadman. I'm like, I don't know. But
it's cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. A few announcements real fast. One, we have a caption contest we'll talk about tonight. The other thing, the meat grinder contest is ongoing. It started. And let me just tell you, I'm not giving the numbers just yet, okay? But I could say that the competition is pretty thick. What the meat grinder contest is, the authors submit their work, right? It's edited to the best of their ability. They submit it, they send it in, and I'm like, okay, I take like a handful. This time I got 7. I put them on the site. They're competing against each other for the views, the likes, the comments, and the one who gets the most points out of the likes, views, and comments wins. They win like $50. So there you go. Let's see. Let me take a quick look at this real fast. I think Ty.
There's some really good stories in that too.
Oh yeah. There are. Oh, and what did I say? Ty. His name's Trev.
Is there a website? Is there a website you guys are looking at right now?
I'm actually looking at the backlog. Actually, I'm looking at.
It's Deadman's. It's deadmanstome.net.
Mm-hmm.
Deadmanstome.net.
Yeah, and I'm looking at kind of like the back page of it, if you will. Not where the hookers are at, but the hooker calls. But I'm looking at like the stats and all that. Let's see, we have a returning champion, Trev Hill. He's in the lead once again, and then you got Ray Pugh. He's like in second place, and then you have Daniel Nadin, Fiend Goatees, Veronica Smith, Mark
and Goddess.
I would not have figured that one out. Goddess.
Goddess.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. Okay. So pretty much what I can tell everybody is start sharing. Encourage your friends and family to like the story and leave comments because you get points for that. Comments are the main thing. If you can spark a conversation on your story, about your story, then there you go. I'm just throwing out some ideas here. Okay? The other announcement I have is kind of have a sneak submission call. I don't know if y'all know who Darkside Phil is. It's a long story, but he's a Twitch streamer. God. Pretty much e-begs for money, kind of like what I'm doing right now. Where like if someone were to donate $5, I'll take a shot of this this Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. But except he does it by like complaining about his bills, like. Oh, I can't pay my bills. Guys, can you donate so I can pay my bills or pay my taxes? That's what he does. He's been doing that for years. Apparently it's working for him. I guess. But there's a whole bunch of lore to him. And it's a very small community. It seems like a very niche audience, but it's a very active audience. And I think it'd be very fun to tap into that. So I'm looking for short stories that are kind of written about this Darkside Phil character, where he's either the main character or the people associated with him become main characters one way or the other. Don't want to use his real name. You can use his Twitch name, I guess, Twitch persona. After all, it's just a persona, right? One way or the other, and have fun with it. Have fun with it. Token payment, royalties, all that stuff. You could find the information on the Facebook page, Deadman's Tome Facebook page. There you go. That's pretty much it.
You're cutting in and out.
All right, can you hear me now? I know it's coming through on the stream, but can you hear me now?
Better, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why it does that sometimes on Skype. Anyway, any other announcements? Any ads or anything?
No. I'll have ads starting next time.
Good.
I'm waiting on the information.
Well, then with all that out of the way,
we have the E-Zine coming out again.
Oh, we do have that. Well, of course, we always have that. That's
I'll have that to you this
deep
weekend.
fried heart, delicious deep fried heart right there.
It's full of great stuff.
Oh, I believe it. I need to take a look at that. All right, so Jeff, why did I say Jeff? Jeff Menapace. Menapace.
Yeah.
Who are you and what do you do?
Say again?
Who are you and what do you do?
I'm a guy in Pennsylvania who writes, and that's pretty much it, man. I'm a pretty boring guy.
No, you're not.
I am. The shit I write might be a little out there, but my life is pretty boring. I just, like I said, I live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Like I said, I'm 45, going to be 46 in September, and let me see.
He's a beautiful wife.
What else do you want to know? I'm married with 2 cats.
Okay.
What else? What else do you want to know?
Well, let's see here. You've been writing a long time, right? I mean,
I've been writing. Yeah, I've been. I've only been writing for a living, for only I guess a little over 5 or 6 years now.
Wow.
I was a school teacher for a while, and then before that, I did a whole bunch of other odd jobs, but I was been writing since I was old as I could hold a pencil, and
Okay.
but it was never really anything you thought you could you would do as a living. That was like for the Stephen Kings and the big shots. You didn't think that was possible, and
Gotcha.
so it was always, I always just did it for fun. And then one day, I liked teaching, but I didn't love it. It was a stable job, but my heart wasn't in it. So I for like shits and giggles, I started sending my stuff out, and I was lucky enough to land an agent, and the rest is kind of history after that.
Wow. So you were teaching school, and then you. I mean, that kind of sounds like Stephen King, right? He was an English teacher.
He was. He taught high school though. I taught little kids, believe it or not.
No.
Yeah, I taught 3rd and 4th grade. And it was. I was very determined at one point to really. Once I started getting decent feedback from my agent and then publishers, I was. I started thinking it was possible. So, I had to get up at like 6:30 to teach. So I would set my alarm at 4 every morning and get up and write for 2 hours. And then, cause I would always tell myself that I was going to write when I got home from teaching, but I was just dead, after teaching kids all day, I had nothing.
Well, it's an exhausting job, from what I hear.
Oh,
I'm having to deal with those little shits all day, I'll say it. You don't have to say it, it's just,
well, I mean, one of the greatest travesties in the world is that teachers don't get the money they deserve, because it is a brutal. I think any teacher, you always hear people say, "Oh, it must be nice to have summers off," and that's for like, that's you ever see that movie The Purge? That's so they don't go do that shit.
Yeah,
it's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. Teachers do need to be paid more. At the same time, though,
oh my god,
there's also teachers that like. I guess maybe it's because they're not paid enough. I don't know. There's some teachers where it's like, we've all had bad teachers. Like they're just kind of like babysitting. They're just kind of there. It's like, well, maybe if they're paid more, maybe they got burned out. I'm not sure what happened. Well,
I'm sure there's a lot of. It could be anything. It could be maybe they've been there forever and they're phoning it in. Once you get tenure, it's pretty hard to get fired when you get tenure.
Yeah.
Right.
But the majority, I mean, those are a lot of those people because in any profession, there's, people suck. But for the majority of teachers out there who are really killing themselves, they deserve, a lot more, if for nothing else, recognition,
Okay.
I so agree.
So you went
Both my parents are teachers, so yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you went from school teaching to writing full time.
Ish, yeah. I still had to sub periodically, because I would say for the first year and a half, 2 years, when I was building an audience, and I was fortunate, that my stuff started selling well, and I was gaining a decent following.
Well,
only after So
I'm very curious. And there's a lot of writers, believe it or not, there's a lot of writers that listen to the show. And one thing they usually, the questions that come up is when they hear this is like, of course, you can imagine, is how? Like, what's the secret? Making a living off your work? How does that happen? And then there's also naysayers. So I kind of want to address both of those people first. Yeah. Okay, when you say making a living off your work, like what do you mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends, I guess, on what you consider a living. I mean, I'm able to, pay my bills, put roof over my head, and put food on the table, that kind of stuff. I'm certainly not living a lavish lifestyle, but then I'm not destitute either. But as far as achieving that, I mean, everyone's goal is going to be different. I mean, if you aspire to be the next Kuntz or King or Patterson or whomever makes $1 bajillion a year, that's setting your sights pretty high.
So you're not making $1 billion a year, but you're definitely paying your bills. You got okay. And you're married. So does your wife work? We don't have to go into full detail. Does. Okay, cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to paint a picture for those who are naysayers that it's definitely possible. It's still very possible for you to make a living off your work. I don't know how much more revealing you want to get with that to help kind of illustrate that even more, to bring that point home, a little bit more. But you're free to.
I will say this. I like to use the analogy of a lot of times when we see, like in movies, you'll see an actor who's like suddenly an overnight sensation, and you think, where did she or he come from? And what you end up finding out is they did a lot of shitty films for a lot of years and nobody recognized or took note of, and then they had their breakout role. And I would say that's a decent comparison, because very seldom do you see a writer who breaks through overnight with their very first thing they write. I know, especially now with indie publishing and the self-publishing platform, people are very eager to write and then put their stuff out immediately. But I still think there needs to be, you need to put in the time to really hone your craft, because it is a craft, just like any art. Whether it's no matter what it is, whether it's music, sculpting, whatever. You need to really put in the time, and then after that, I think if your product is good enough, it'll eventually, people will catch on to it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Now, what was your breakout book?
Probably not it's not the first one I wrote, but probably Bad Games was, which that went through that's the book that I landed my agent with, and I wrote that book a long time ago. And it went through, it had like 50 different titles. But that was the one that people noticed, and, is now, I literally just finished book 5, in the series, and it's had a pretty decent follow.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and that's one book I was reading over.
I don't know anything about that book.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you like that, Becca. You've read it. You've been
I do love it. Actually, that is the second indie book that I read. And the first one was Ian Robright.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Housemates.
Yeah.
And then when I went back, Bad Games was suggested, and I read the blurb about it, and I was like, "Ooh, this sounds good." Yeah. And I never put it down. Yeah. And I was like, holy crap. And I was like, and then, in the back of the book, it says, you're on Facebook, and I messaged you, and we kind of talked about it. And I said, when are you going to write another one? And you said, oh, there is another one. And I said, what is it called?
Yeah.
And you told me, and I was like, okay, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I went and got it. And yeah, I love them. And I'm not gonna lie, I have begged and pleaded, please write another one. And he says, I will someday. And I'm like, no, now.
It was funny. After the second one, I wrote the second one when I was still with my agent. And I remember specifically at the time, he just read the second. He said, "Oh, this is wonderful. Can you write a third?" And I think I was something. My exact words were, "Fuck no! Like it's done. You know, like it is over. Everyone's dead. We're all moving on, or something like that." And then and then when I eventually parted ways with my agent, on good terms, and started going the indie route, and they started selling as well as they did. I started getting a lot of letters saying, book three, and I thought, screw it, and I did, and then I was like, then I'm done, and then lo and behold, book 4, and then I just finished book 5.
Oh, look at that! So, I mean, if they beg and plead for it, right, you kind of have to give it. Eventually,
100%. Totally, yeah, I totally sold out. Totally.
Well, it's different though, right? Because it's not like you're making a sequel to. It's not like you're making a sequel to a movie, or a sequel that no one asked for. You're making a sequel that people wanted. The fans are like, let's have another. Okay, it'd be different if like you come and look at your own work like some sort of Hollywood producer. Like, you know what we need? We need a Bad Games 5, Bad Games 7, 8, 9, 10. Just keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I'm kidding. I'm happy with. It is funny because I have tried other projects and branching out with different work, and I get I get a lot of when I get fan mail and stuff, they all say, "Oh yeah, I liked your I liked your new book. It was good. When's the next Bad Games coming out?" And it's like, it's like the movie Misery. Like, okay. When's the next Misery book coming out?
That's because it's so real and it so could happen, and it's so. You just connected with the character so much.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I definitely agree. And I only read like the free preview of it. And I was like, man, this is intense stuff. We're looking at a book here that's 4 stars strong. It has over 1K reviews, and it's like, yeah, sure, you get the troll reviews. Everyone gets that, but it's a good, solid book. So I guess tell us a little bit about Bad Games.
Becky, I think just made a strong point. Like I really only write about stuff that kind of creeps me out. Or that's not true. I've written about a lot of things, but the stuff that I enjoy really writing is stuff I should say that scares me, is stuff that I believe could happen. I don't believe in ghosts or demons and monsters. I don't believe in that stuff. So, it doesn't particularly scare me, but I do believe, that if my car broke down out in the middle of fucking nowhere at 2 a.m. and a truck full of, hillbillies drove by and was like, "What's up, boy?" I'd be terrified. So that to me, and I don't mean hillbilly in any derogatory sense, right. But it's like the classic Deliverance thing, like that to me is something that could really happen, and that's scary. And so that's, with Bad Games, I really wanted to. I thought, what could really be terrifying? Something, and I thought, as a man, and I don't mean this in a male ego kind of thingy, but is that terrifying thing is that inability to protect your family. And I thought, what if this family was the subject of these guys who are fucking with them over time and basically working on their paranoia to an extent. They don't come right after them, but it's to an extent where then ultimately the father and the mother are in a position where they have to protect their kids, and then on top of that, they're in a position where they can no longer protect their children. And I just thought that's something that can really, really happen. It's way out there in the sticks of Western PA, which I've spent a lot of time out there, and it's just, the story just kind of came together after that.
Man, that's pretty cool. It's very intense stuff, and I definitely relate there. Like ghosts and demons and all that stuff. I don't really believe in. I think I revealed that. I think I've made that clear on this show by doing all the crazy stuff I do, like debasing Ouija boards and trying to provoke demons and stuff. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that at all.
It's fun. So go to the. I love that movie. What was the one that came in? The Conjuring. I enjoyed the
Conjuring?
hell out of that. But I don't believe in that stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fun, but I'll stay in a haunted house, whatever. I just, I don't believe in it.
But-
But the idea of a home invasion, the idea
Ooh,
of
man.
being helped and tied up and watching your loved one being tormented in front of you, it's horrifying.
And at any time it could happen.
Yeah, and
Think about that.
and stalked like
It's stalked,
everywhere.
yeah, meticulously, right? Everywhere you go, and then like I said, in books 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's ratcheted up a bit, So that to me is scary stuff that could happen.
What's interesting too for those listening. Have you just imagine like someone invading your home, like just kicking in the door. Like what do you do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go run to the phone and call the police? What? How long does it take for the police to arrive? 10 minutes?
Right.
15? 20? If you're out on the sticks.
Too long.
If you're out on the sticks, then you are you better take law in your hands, son. Because
and that's what the antagonists in the book count on. They count on that, and I remember watching it. It's something that always stuck with me. Did you ever see that movie Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer?
Did I see it? It sounds
Yes.
familiar. Okay.
Yeah, it's came out in like mid to late 80s, I believe. And it was low budget, but based on the serial killer Henry Lee Lucas and his buddy Otis. I just forgot his last name. Otis. Crap. It'll come to me in a second. Anyway, and they were creepy dudes, and the movie's excellent. Mm-hmm. And in particular, there's a home invasion scene with these two guys, and they film it, and it's got a real grainy, and it only takes up maybe 5 minutes of the film, but it is so disturbing. That stayed with me forever. I mean, it really is just probably, in my opinion, the most disturbing part of the whole film. So, that,
Right.
Oh man,
that
that'll stick with you.
Stuff.
Ooh. By the way, just to segue real fast, Becky sent a super chat earlier for $1. I'm not gonna say how much, but yeah, it's there. You saw it. So the feature's pretty cool.
That's all it would let me send.
Oh yeah, wouldn't let you send more? Oh, that's weird. Must be broken. You might want to test that out, people. I'm just messing. But I'll definitely take a shot for that. She said, take a shot. I'll take a shot. I did. All right. It's a one shot in so far. And it's a Wednesday. That's okay. So having read what I read of Bad Games, one thing I want to ask you is this based on any real life experience?
From me?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the characters and scenery or setting or, this and that, yes. But as far as, the horrible stuff, no, fortunately that's fiction.
Okay.
That, I mean, I always try to use names of friends in my work. I always try to use, and I do use real locations that I've been to in Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania, so I always try to use locations. But as far as like the really, dark shit, fortunately, no, that hasn't happened.
Okay, so just to make sure,
it's based on now a lot of. I am fascinated with. I always love studying, psychology as it relates to serial killers and whatnot, and it's something I look into, and behavioral science and whatnot. So I sometimes use examples, or I base situations off of incidents with real life serial killers. Kind of like they did in Silence of the Lambs. The James Gumb character was based loosely on Ed Gein and Ted Bundy.
yeah.
And as was Psycho. That was totally Ed Gein. There's a lot of, and like I said, going back to Silence of the Lambs, when he got the girl into the van, he clubbed her he pretended he had a broken arm. Mm-hmm. Bundy did that with a lot of his victims. He used to walk around with a cast on his arm and ask for help and get them alone, and then, abduct them. Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
I would try to use real life examples like that into my fiction.
Okay. Now, and this was your breakthrough novel, right? This is the one that got you I mean, I guess it broke ground for you, right?
Yeah, I would say so. It was probably, I mean, to this day, it's probably, it's not my particular favorite, but it's probably the one that is the most popular. Yeah.
Do you think there? Okay, if you had to guess as to why that was, or why that is, like, what would it be?
I think luck played a good part. You know, coming along at the right time in the right place, kind of thing. It was, I think, you know what? It went through a lot of revisions. When I first wrote it, it was a piece of shit. And I think if I had rushed it, this was what I was going back to earlier. If I had been so eager with the platforms we have today and rushed it, I think it wouldn't have done well. It would have tanked. But because I had it and wrote it as long ago as I did, and because I was eager to land an agent and whatnot with it, I was constantly working on it, rewriting, and in the process, working on the next book and the next book and the next book. So I think it had the benefit of going through a lot of rewrites, and it kind of, I'd like to think that it's, you know, it's decent. I wanted to create, you know, I think was it Stephen King who said, without believability, there's no fear. So I wanted to really create very likable characters that people could relate to. That way, when the bad shit goes down, it's that much more horrifying. You know, and you contrast that with like a Friday the 13th, where, you know, everybody's a cardboard character, and you end up, you know, kind of cheering for Jason more than you do the good guys, you know.
Yeah, and you don't in Bad Games at all.
Yeah,
you love this family. They are, you know, they feel like people, you know.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you. That was my aim. I really wanted them to be. I got a lot of shit for it, though. I will say this. A lot of people. I got a lot of complaints that the couple, Amy and Patrick, were too lovey-dovey, and and you know what?
Oh,
there's
I don't
probably.
think so.
Yeah, I think it depends. I think there's probably some truth to it. I don't know if I had to.
I think it was important to the story, though.
I do too, but I might have gone a little overboard, you know, with I don't know. I mean, but the funny thing is, like, my wife and I, you know, we never call each other Kelly or Jeff. We do that when we're really angry at each other. You know, otherwise we call each other pet names. And you know, and we're constantly making dirty jokes and pinching each other's butts and doing all that flirty shit. You know? And that's just normal. But I guess when you put it on paper, it doesn't translate as well to, I don't know, I guess.
I thought it worked well.
I appreciate it. Thank you. A lot of people, I would say that's probably the single biggest complaint for the first Bad Games book, is that the couple was too lovey-dovey.
I don't see that. I mean,
and that's really funny, because I would not read a romance book if you set me on fire and told me you'd put me out if I read it.
But you'd read a romance between them? Is that what you're saying?
But no, I mean, it didn't bother.
Wait.
I mean,
are we sure?
In Bad Games, I mean, it just worked well.
Jeff, have you considered that market? I mean, have you considered a
romance?
A romantic version of you know, Bad Games?
No.
Maybe. Well, I tell you what. Nowadays, it seems like all you got to do is put a guy with six-pack abs on the cover, and it's a bestseller. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll do that. I'll write an erotic Bad Games version and
be like Bad Games Hard or Bad Games Dark. Yeah. It should be hard or harder.
Like, bad games.
Oh,
naughty
games.
Naughty games, erotic games, or some shit. I don't know.
Naughty games, hard. No. I like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the dude.
You're not messing with my series. Don't go there.
Oh, I wouldn't trust me. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Oh.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
I don't know. If there's a demand, you might find a way.
I'll probably get to a point at some point in my life where I sell out and do shit like that. I don't know. Not right now.
So right now you don't have like a pending or anything where you write erotica or anything on the side?
No.
I mean, some people do. I don't
if
judge.
he did, he wouldn't admit it. Are you kidding?
I'm not going to ask what it is. I'm not going to hunt for that. Every
That's
man.
true. I
woman.
probably wouldn't. I wouldn't admit it. No, but I can. It takes me long, and I wish I was a faster writer. It takes me long enough to write the shit I write now. So no, I don't think I would have time to write erotic on the side.
Mm.
You said that Bad Games wasn't your favorite that you've written. Which one is?
It's a good question. I don't really. I can't. I have a very hard time going back and reading my stuff. I'm always very
there's
critical.
one I'm looking at, Wildlife, and I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
That's good too.
I didn't know you wrote self-help books.
Didn't know I wrote what?
Self-help books.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, how long?
Self-help.
Yeah, Wildlife. Is this going to help me live the life I want to live? Is it going to help me achieve that? Like, is that what this is?
To get all the
It
swamp?
might help you. It might tell you like what not to do in the Everglades. I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Okay, wait. So I'm not gonna learn how to wrestle alligators with this because I see.
It'll teach you how to get eaten by one, probably, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and who not to trust.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually that one was based on a trip I had. I got that idea when I was in the Everglades. I took a boat ride. I was there with Kelly's folks. They live down in Florida, and they took us out for this fan boat ride in the Everglades. And if you've ever been there, it's very mystical. You feel like you're on another planet. And
Right.
in the middle of nowhere, and then suddenly, I mean, nowhere. There was no one you felt like you're on another planet, and killed the engine. And it was quiet for a good 5 seconds. And I thought, well, this is the part where he robs us and kicks us overboard and we get eaten. You know?
Yeah.
And right away, I mean, fortunately, obviously he didn't. But right away, I thought, all right, there's a story here, and that's where that grew from.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's brutal in places though, but it's good.
I would say that's
really
probably
good.
my second. A lot of people like that even more than Bad Games. I'd say that's probably my second most popular. There's 2 of them in that series.
Yes.
Okay. And I dig that's inspired by, in this case, like real life experience, like you going to the Everglades and checking that shit out.
Yeah.
That's something else, man. So what else is going on in that book? Like, can you give us any other tease? I always enjoy a good tease.
What do you say that again? You mean what, the wildlife
sorry.
books?
Yeah, about the wildlife.
You want to know about like what happened? Oh,
a little bit. Give us a little sample, a little tease of it.
I mean, my biggest thing, obviously, the wildlife. I mean, it's named that because out in the Everglades, there's huge snakes and gators and all kinds of goodies. But I always thought, and there's some swamp people who live way out there that are pretty creepy, and and this is by no knock on anybody who lives there or Floridians or anything.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be absolutely terrifying to be stranded out there on foot, having to find your way back to civilization. And then I thought even worse would be at night. So I somehow fixed it so that this family of tourists, who of course are not familiar with the Everglades, is stuck there, and not only they witness a brutal crime between 2 swamp families way out, and of course now they've been abducted because this one of the families doesn't want them to get away, but they escape, and now they have to escape on foot at night through the Everglades, and while these psychos are after them. And I just thought that was a pretty scary prospect.
That would be.
Oh yeah.
That'd be horrible, man.
It is. It's really frightening, but it's. I mean, it's good too.
Like, how do you get out from that? I wouldn't know what to do. Like, if the guy driving the boat had a heart attack and killed over and fell in and was like eaten by like the crocodile before my eyes. Is it crocodile or alligator? I always get confused.
Alligator. Crocodile. Yeah, crocodiles there. Alligator.
Okay, so the alligator devours the fat boat driver. I'd be like, okay, well he might be content right now, but what if this alligator has like, I don't know, like a dad or a mom or a brother or something? Like, would you walk?
Like Jaws 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever they did. I don't know.
I mean, I guess you could try to jumpstart the boat, right? You could just turn the boat back on. I mean,
Yeah, oh yeah, I certainly would try. I mean, fortunately, you know, it's funny. The alligators there. I mean, the scariest people. The whole point of the book is the scary people are the people. I mean, the wildlife is the alligators. I mean, they leave you alone. You know, they don't really bother people.
well,
Unless you're like,
hold on here. Hold on.
I mean, unless you're dumb enough to like, you know, fuck with it.
Would you
Otherwise,
walk? Would you walk?
What's that?
Would you walk barefoot through an Everglades? Like, would you?
I mean, I guess if I had no choice.
I mean, what's the price?
You know, not by choice.
Yeah.
Well, what about for like $1 million?
Oh God, I don't. Maybe if I could wear what's that movie, Iron Man? Maybe if I had his suit on or something.
No suit. You get denim jeans.
Denim jeans.
No.
So it wouldn't.
No, because something would touch my foot and I would be screaming.
You can get a shirt that says "Save me, Jesus."
You know what? Would be the freakiest thing I think would be the snapping turtles. They have those things are huge and they're nasty.
They have armor on them.
Oh yeah, they are nasty. I would those would creep me out because they would take an alligator would probably swim away from you, but a snapping turtle, man, yeah.
They'll go for your toes.
They'll go for whatever for a guy. They'll go for the dangly bits.
Yeah,
that's freaky.
Yeah, that's the other thing. See, we could revise this and be like, you have to be bare freaking naked walking through the swamp.
Hell no.
What's the price for that?
Oh my Lord!
They say everyone has a price, but what's the price for that, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. But you're right. You add in people, not just any people. We're talking about a breed of Florida. Look, not saying anything mean about Florida. I mean, I guess in a way I am, but like Floridians are a different breed of human. I'm coming to the conclusion of that. Like, but it's for a good reason. Like, there has to be a level of crazy in your blood to live and thrive in that environment. You know, just the way things are.
Absolutely.
So you can love crazy or you can hate crazy. You know, you could be, I guess, like the sort of people in your books, like the kind of crazy psychos that want to like do you wrong and throw you in the swamp. I mean, what are these people doing? Like, if you come across like this.
It's isolation, I guess, and I don't know. I would venture to say a lot of inbreeding. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, it was funny. I wrote the sequel, and it's it deals with the extended family from the first. And I got a couple letters of people saying, "Well, exactly how are they related?" And I wanted to write back, like, "Does it matter? I mean, who gives a shit? Like, they're fucking related somehow, right? I don't know." Like, let's say their family.
We didn't ask them.
Yeah,
let's say
right.
Mama's been around. Mama's been around.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
Oh,
oh God. Oh, that's horrible.
Gross.
Okay, so what happens in your book where, like, let's say one of the characters stumbles upon, like, or crosses paths with, like, maybe the wild brother in that family. In the murderous family, like, what happens? Is it gonna be like a bad time?
All hell breaks loose.
Like in general, or
just
something I try to do is I think a formula that tends to work fairly well is and like I said in the beginning, you try your best to create characters that people like and can identify with. That's huge, that I can identify with. A lot of times if you create annoying or very flawed characters, and I mean, flawed character is good, but like heavily flawed, you don't sympathize as much or empathize as much or identify as much. But if you have people that you can identify with, you start to like them, and you introduce the crazies who are really fucked up. Then the crazies come in contact with the good guys, start fucking with them, and then finally at the end, the good guys fight back and in a really badass kind of way and makes everyone stand up and cheer. And that's usually, I have to be honest, that's a formula that I try to stick to in all my things. And it we all like to, especially if it's a character we all like to see him fight back and prevail, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a tried and true formula. It works well. I mean, some people like it. Some people do like the, I guess, annihilation, like everyone's being defeated, like ending on a bad note.
Right.
But I would much rather see my.
Can work. I mean,
it can.
It depends on how it's written. I mean, I'm just suggesting
like
one formula that I. Yeah. I mean, again, there's authors out there. I mean, Clive Barker, who I love his early works. He his stuff always tended to be pretty darn bleak, endings and but he is such a freaking genius that he didn't care, man. He was just wonderful, and there's a lot of writers out there who are.
But at the same time, you do you, right? I mean, like, you write what you want to write, and
write what do you think works, what you're happy with. Yeah.
And it's working for you. I mean, we definitely established that early on in the show. It's definitely working for you.
So what works for me might not work for the next person. So you got to find your own way.
Mm-hmm. I think
and the story kind of takes its turn where it wants to go to.
Yeah,
I agree heavily with that. I'm not a plotter when I write. I know a lot of people are heavy plotters, but I'm a really rough outliner. No book has ever really ended the way I thought it would end. The characters kind of take on their own little life, a life of their own, and and I think
that's important.
Well, again, it's all on how you do it. I mean, there are I would say the drawback to that is the process is slower.
Right.
But I believe, at least for me personally, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I believe that it makes the job more enjoyable because every day you're figuring new things out. It's more discovery, as opposed to if you've got everything plotted in advance, it feels more like dictation.
Right. Yeah, it feels weird. It's like you're plugging in the numbers, like putting the pieces in the puzzle that's already pre-planned. Like you saw what the image is supposed to look like on the box, and now you're just putting the pieces together. But
I mean, that's a way to look. I mean, like I said, if that works for you and you like it, but all more power to you. It's just I've tried doing that and I struggled with it. I prefer, but again,
there's something with writing in the moment, right? When you're writing in the moment, like what happens? What happens if an idea just springs in your head?
It's exciting, especially when you come up. Oh, wouldn't it be? Oh, here's a neat idea. Usually it happens when you're in the car or in the shower or taking a walk or whatever. You think, oh shit, that would be really cool if this happened. Mm-hmm. And those are the
almost asleep.
or dozing. That happens all the time. Yeah, so that's what makes it extremely enjoyable and fun. But at the same time, there are a lot of cons to that method. It's enjoyable, but it tends to be slower, at least for me. And you do tend to get roadblocked a lot. If it's not plotted, you do tend to hit a lot of roadblocks and pull your hair out for a week trying to figure out what the hell's going to come next,
Yeah.
Right.
I can recall those moments. I mean, the roadblocks it's kind of interesting, though. It's kind of fun in a way, because it's like, how do I navigate this situation?
I would never call them fun, ever.
Well, it's like solving a puzzle. It's like solving a puzzle, I mean, you must like it because it's part of the writing process, right? It's part of it, and
I think Stephen King said even his worst day in the office was still awesome. It was still the playground, I think he said. And it's true. I mean, I would certainly rather be trying to figure out how I'm going to get the characters out of this jam rather than teaching a room full of 40 kids,
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know how anyone can stand being a teacher, honestly. You should just all get up and quit.
Some people are good at. My ex-girlfriend, man, God bless her. She, from an early age, she knew that's what she wanted to do. And to this day, she's like it's just awesome. She loves her job. She kicks ass at it. What's that?
Oh, I was going to ask, could you imagine if like all the teachers at your school just like got up, you know what? Just get up and quit. We're going to demand for a raise. Otherwise, you're just going to fire all of us. Are they going to fire the whole school? Will they fire the whole school?
They do have teacher strikes a lot, and it does happen.
But they can't fire a whole school. I mean, that's a...
Oh, it's a strike.
They can't fire you if it's tenure.
Yeah,
If you
well,
get tenure.
interesting.
Well, they can, but it's a lot more difficult. But anyway.
Then I apologize, Jeff. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Another one of your books that I really love is Side Effects.
That one I'm actually quite proud of. It does okay. I released that one right after the third Bad Games book, I believe, and I think everyone, or maybe after Wildlife. I think maybe after one of, I don't know, and
I think it was after Wildlife.
Yeah, I think it might have been, and people liked Wildlife because it was very similar in nature to Bad Games, but Side Effects was tamer. It was a police procedural. I was very proud of it, but everyone was expecting a new kind of Bad Games or a new kind of Wildlife, and they were not receptive to it, and it's unfortunate because I'm very, very, very proud of that book. Another one I'm enormously proud of is something I co-wrote with my sister called Cling. It's a post-bestseller. I love it.
I love that book.
Oh man, I can check that one out.
Can't give it away.
That one.
I don't know why.
That one. Are you serious?
It doesn't sell for shit. It really does.
God.
Yeah, and I'm very.
I love that book.
I
wonder why. I wonder why it doesn't sell. That's weird.
I have tried almost everything to push that book, and nobody. It just has not caught on, and I don't.
Well,
I do.
I got a few other. What about Sugar Daddy? Does Sugar Daddy sell?
For a short, it's a novella. It's not a novel, but it won an award. It won an award back, and that was something that got me started, even before Bad Games.
Okay, that's cool. What's Sugar Daddy about? Oh wait, I think he cut off.
Did we lose him?
I think we lost him.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if he knows he's lost. But he's lost.
Call him back. Call him back.
No.
Okay, now he's back.
You know.
Okay, wait.
Oh, you cut off for a minute.
Okay, Jeff, for a moment you were gone. Like, you were in the void. So, I was asking, what is Sugar Daddy about? What's going on with that book? Or that novella?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one was actually based on another thing. I used to do a lot of pet sitting, house sitting, and there was one particular family that I did sat for their dog, and they lived in a very affluent, very nice suburb in a particular cul-de-sac. And I noticed when I would take the dog out for a walk that I would see all of these beautiful women, like housewives, women, whatever you want to call it. They would always be outside either talking or tending to their garden or just taking a walk or working out. And I would stay at this house for like a week, and I never, ever, ever saw a single man the entire time. And this was a big cul-de-sac. I never saw guys coming home. I never saw men coming out, and it was just, and I'm like, this, is this entire cul-de-sac? Is this just all women? And I'm thinking maybe
there might be Twitch thoughts. Maybe they're getting money that way. Maybe when they're inside, they're streaming on Twitch and getting money that way, or maybe they're on my cams or something. They could get money.
This was before that. I wrote it a while ago, so I got to thinking like, all right, well maybe they get their money. Not that they couldn't be working or anything like that, of course, and nothing like that. But the fact that they were all like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they were all out, and it didn't seem like anybody was working.
Yeah, maybe they own some real estate. I don't know.
Or, who knows what? So I got this idea that they had a sugar daddy, but not just any sugar daddy. Ooh. Just a guy was this supernatural type demon who paid them lots of money to give birth to his babies.
Yeah, Sugar Papa. Mm-hmm. He comes around. He's the big pimp of sugar daddies. You never seen a breed like him before. He comes around.
Yeah,
there's a whole new meaning to Big Daddy J, don't it?
Big Daddy J's gonna be knocking at your door. Don't have time for that. Don't have time for that, Thor. Okay, I think we have some chat questions. Kelly Evans has some questions. We're keeping track of that, Becky?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Let's make sure we get that asked.
Okay. Kelly wants to know, when you were querying agents, how long did it take? How many rejections, requests for partial fulls did you get?
I can't give an exact number, but I would say a lot. You have to be very, very committed. I would say, when querying an agent, if she's asking an agent, not a publisher, those are two very different things. If you're querying an agent outright, I would say the best advice I could possibly give on that is to really do your research on the agent's background. Find out as much as you can about them, right down to their favorite books. I got a lot of nibbles by researching the agent, finding out their favorite books, and then when in my query letter saying, I see that you really love, I don't know, Jaws. I have a book that'll scare you just as much as Jaws did, or something like that. And they really appreciate that you took the time, because if they represent nothing but romance authors and you're selling them horror, that's just going to piss them off.
Yeah,
and
waste their time.
Do not send them a form letter, dear sir, dear ma'am. Don't do that shit. No way. Address them personally. Find out as much as you can about them, and really just make it short and sweet and to the point. And if they seem interested, unfortunately, you have to really get their interest in like a sentence or more, or a sentence or less. Jesus. And then after that, they'll ask you if they're interested. Okay, send me the first 3 chapters. I mean, it varies from agent to agent. That just depends. But I was rejected a lot. I mean, a lot. And you have to just persevere. You really do. But in the meantime, if you've only written one thing and you're querying it over and over and over, don't just sit on it. Keep writing. Just keep writing. Don't sit on it and think that one day that one novel is going to be enough. Usually, I mean, people have written 4, 5, 6, even 10 novels before their first one gets published. So that's my advice on that.
Now, should you pay the agent outright like before?
No.
But Sally Sam says that she's an agent and she represents all these other authors and she has movie deals and she wants she promised so much.
Run.
She only wants like $2,000 in advance.
Well, tell her to go. I cannot see. There's no reason. I mean, it's bullshit. Yeah, Becky's right. Run. Don't. If they want money up front, it's like No money up front. No. If your work's good, trust me, they'll make their money off you. If they believe in your work and they believe they can make money, they'll get their percentage. They'll get their cut. So yeah, do not give any money up front. No.
And
you don't pay a publisher and you don't pay an agent.
Chances are we probably know other authors who are roped into agents that require that they pay them
I'm sure.
Okay. Require that they pay them I guess on retainer? Like there's some sort of lawyer? Like what?
No, I cannot think of a reason I can't think of any reason why you would have to pay them anything up front. If they like your stuff, I mean, other than the cost of a fucking stamp, I can't think of anything you should have to pay. It's nowadays with the internet nowadays, all you got to do, if they do ask for money up front, do a background search on them. Someone will have a website saying stay the hell away from this woman or this guy.
Becky, we've had a few authors on the show that have agents and have these movie deals are supposedly in the works. I'm curious about that because I'm leaning towards, I'm not going to reveal names or anything, but I'm leaning towards there is not going to be a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. Because something about it seems weird.
What's not going to be a pot of gold?
At the end of the rainbow, it's going to be a pot of...
For what?
Well, some people get roped into agents, and there's one particular one, and I was recommended to talk to her, and I did. And she was asking all these questions, and then the end and the short of it was, okay.
You talked to the agent. Is what you mean?
Yeah, I talked to the agent, and she represents other authors that we know, and she was asking for like $1,000, $2,000. I'm like, what?
Oh
no.
Ask her right up front. Why? Before?
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's my fee. It's like, no. I had no interest. Had no interest. I did not return any of her phone calls. I'm like, no, I'm not. That's why I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
There's some sharks. There's some sharks going around, and they're roping people in, and it's gonna bust. And when it does, I want to be there to freaking expose it, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You watch.
No, there's gonna be shysters forever.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
You're not kidding.
Not at all. Okay. What about okay, so you've gone so you have an agent, but now you don't have an agent, right?
Okay. Yeah. I have a lot of PR people working for me. I have a good team together. And that team consists of everything from beta readers to editors, cover designers to PR people, social media people that I have put together myself over a period of time, which I think if you are going to go the indie route, that is hugely important, because like I said, the temptation to put your book out there is very, very strong, but you need to make sure it is as good as a product as you possibly, because once it's out there, it's out there,
Yeah.
And that's why, I would say paying top dollar for very strong, reputable copy editors is something you should really consider, because as much as it might sting that they tell you this needs a lot of work, or you need to cut this scene, or you need to change this, or I found a huge plot hole, and it does hurt. It hurts every single time. There's an old saying, the editor is always right, and they usually are, man. They usually. So it's hugely important.
And I'm looking over your listings, and we had a guest on. His name was Brian Meeks. And he talked about copywriting. And I don't know who does the writing for your descriptions on your Amazon page, but it's like it reads well. Like the first thing I see on side effects is warning: side effects may include the ability to catch a killer. Already I'm enticed. That's the hook. It's like, okay, you got me.
That one is a lot. I do most of my copywriting, but again, that came through trial and error. That shit didn't come to me overnight. I had to really learn and study, and guys, I know Brian Meeks. His stuff is great. Get your hands on as much as you can. I mean, it's an art. You know what it is? It's something that, if you ever stop and think I don't need to learn anymore, then you need to just get out of the business. You can never stop. You can never stop improving and getting better and learning more.
I mean, that's the thing. Once you act like you don't, or once you think you don't have anything else to learn, then you pretty much sell yourself short. Like, well, who are you? Are you like the czar of writing? You're the czar of publishing? Oh, I mean.
I think it's ego. I think ego does get in the way, especially for some people whose first book is a big success. Their success goes to their head. But you just can never, ever, ever stop learning. I mean, why would you want to if you love your craft? I mean, it's kind of like the guy in the gym who eventually is, knocking everybody out. Well, he's got a choice. He can stay at the gym and keep knocking everybody out, or he can go to a bigger, tougher gym and start getting knocked out himself, but at least he's going to improve as a fighter, And, it's up to you. Do you want to stay in the same gym and feel like a hot shot and knock out everybody the same day over and over? Or do you want to go to a tougher gym and be humbled a little bit, but know that you're going to get better? So,
yeah, makes sense.
That's the truth.
Yeah. No, what do you think about... go ahead, Becky.
I want to ask him I want to know about Cling.
Ooh, okay.
Because I love that book. I cannot believe that people did not like that.
I don't think it's that they didn't like it. the reviews I've got, Kirkus Reviews gave it a very nice 5-star review, and most people who read it who are willing to, it's definitely not a Bad Games or a Wildlife book. So most people who are willing to open their mind and read it tend to enjoy it, and it's even suitable, in my opinion, for young adult.
Oh yes.
But the problem is not so much in the reviews. It's nobody. I don't know what's going on. I can't sell it, and I have tried, man. I just cannot. It will not catch on. I don't know. Maybe it will one day. I have hopes for it. I am enormously proud. It was a great. I enjoyed doing it because I co-authored it with my sister, and it brought me and my sister closer together because, you know, our relationship, you know, we weren't particularly close, and working together on this brought us, you know, our relationship to a new level, which was nice. And I'm just I love the characters. I really, and it has potential to go in so many directions. It's a shame it hasn't done better.
It is, because I'd love to have another one of these too.
Yeah, I'd love to write another one too. So who knows? Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, that is strange. How, I mean, so even your fans that love your work, like, they're not really gravitating towards this one.
No. You know, your fans, your fan base tends to come from a certain type. Like I said, it's no matter what I put out, everyone says, "Oh, this is great. When's the next Bad Games book coming out?" Like, yeah. "Oh yeah. Right. Hey everybody, how did you like the new book?" "Oh, it was great, Jeff. Thanks. When's the new Bad Games book coming out?" It's like, like they want what they want. There's a reason why, like, John Sanford has like fucking 90 Prey novels, and why James Patterson has a bajillion Alex Cross novels. That's what people want.
Yep.
I mean, they can phone it in, and you know, you can. You know, it's unfortunate. I mean, you should be. You know, it's champagne problems, right? Oh, geez, people like your stuff and they want more of it, right? But
yeah,
it is tough because sometimes you do want to branch out and you do want to try new things, and you know, but you know, like I said, you could have worse problems than
you could have worse problems.
Different patch of readers than your readers that you have now.
And remind me again, what's going on with Kling real fast? Like what's the big thing about Kling?
It's apocalyptic.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic. You know what I like to call it? Like almost like a female Mad Max kind of.
Yes.
Post-apocalyptic, a lot of elements to movies I love, like, you know, Road Warrior and Time Bandits, and you know, things along those lines. And it was just a lot of fun to write, but it just I don't know if I haven't reached the right audience or what, but you know, like I said, there's always maybe one day. I don't know. Maybe it'll.
So this badass chick, she's like riding around like in a car, like out in the wastelands or something.
She is what they call a martyr. She has a psychic gift that, unfortunately, though, every time she uses it, it makes her sick. So it shortens her lifespan. Now, meanwhile, most people who are on this ruined earth, they're breathing in a substance that has been coined Kling because of, you know, a catastrophe, a worldwide catastrophic event, and the average lifespan is like 40. But there is a substance that, you know, and we hint in the book that it was from a giant, basically like a humongous meteor crash in the ocean and erupted and whatever. But there is a substance that eradicates it, but it's very hard to find. But being a psychic, being the martyrs, they can find it. And it's a weird trade-off, but being a martyr, they tend to want to keep to themselves because there's a lot of roving gangs and warlords who want to abduct them and torture them to exploit their gift to get their hands on the substance that eradicates the deadly toxins in the air.
Okay.
So,
that's pretty cool.
And there's a lot of and then there are people who live underground that they call moles, because the poison isn't as strong underground, but the trade-off is they live underground and they eat bugs. So,
like roaches and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, they do. They eat roaches and all. My sister actually, my sister did a lot of research on
what,
like bugs that people genuinely eat and that are actually quite nutritious, and she put it in there.
Just no.
Okay, I'm curious.
I would not.
Did your sister share her knowledge, her research with you?
Oh yeah. In fact, well, I'll tell you this. She, her husband, is Chilean, and he has an iron stomach. I mean, this man can eat anything. You name it, he can eat it. And he was interested, and he went as far to get a canned tarantula.
What?
And he actually ate it. You know.
No.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. He ate a canned.
Oh my God.
Becky loves spiders, by the way.
Oh, I hate him.
Yeah, just about as much as Jeff does.
Oh, I hate him. I hate him.
I do too. I'm terrified of them.
Yeah.
Would you rather wake up with like a bunch of roaches or a bunch of spiders on you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Roaches any day.
Oh.
Yeah.
God. I'll take the spider bites.
I prefer not either one if you don't mind.
I'll take the spider bites. I'll just get off me. Get off me.
I guess you didn't like Creepshow. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it, and I also had the comic.
Oh yeah, I had that. That was awesome.
The roach one was the worst one. That was.
Oh yeah.
I could not stomach that.
Yeah, that was tough. And at the end when they go inside them and all start coming out of them.
Yeah, to this day, whenever I see roaches, I freak out. I'm like, fuck, no. Yeah.
Well, I'll step on the roaches, but you're killing the spiders.
So
you know what? The roaches are hard to kill, though, man.
What is?
This is true.
What is the most nutritious bug? I mean, like, so if you're gonna live underground, like, what are you gonna be eating?
Shit. I wish she was here. She would tell. She, crickets, mealworms. These are off the top of my head. There's, you can eat roaches, by the way. You can eat roaches.
No.
You know.
No, I cannot.
You know they serve roach milk. I don't know if they serve it, but they're talking about roach milk.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I didn't. Yeah. I want to see them milk them.
Yeah, how do you a roach?
You know when you step on one with that white stuff that comes out? I think that's supposed to be the milk. I thought that was the guts. I don't know.
I'm not sure that's what it is, but okay.
I don't even know either, Becky. And you know, there's some people that are like pushing crickets. Eat crickets. Eat grasshoppers. I'm like, I'm not fucking eating bugs. No. What are you talking about? Oh, but it's good. Like, no. Just what?
Well, it's the end of days and you got nothing to eat. You never know.
Yeah, I'll eat it then, I guess. Actually, I'm not just
rocks.
Like... You eat rocks?
Yes, before I'm eating bugs.
Okay. All right, hold on. Post-apocalyptic situation. It's like Cling, okay? Like Cling. Now, you can eat fried, or I guess it would be fried. You can eat some barbecued human, okay? Or you could eat a whole bucket of roaches. What are you eating?
I guess it depends on how they're prepared. I don't know. I mean, for all we know, all three of us have probably eaten a person. Who knows?
Yeah, Taco Bell or something.
And we've probably also eaten roaches too.
Oh yeah. I'll take the I mean, at least the barbecue one. I'm like, well, you know, did he season it? Like, how does it taste? Like, is it good? Does it mean I'm next?
You're not right. You're a mess.
I don't know. I mean, I would. What do they always say? Everything tastes like chicken, so maybe it does. Who knows?
Oh. I heard we taste like pork. I don't know if I.
I've heard that too. Yeah, I've actually heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
I don't want to know how they know that.
That's where the expression "long pig" came from.
Really? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just agreeing.
Yeah, that's what they used to call it. a cut of long pig that was basically us eating people.
Yuck.
So
No thanks.
Okay. Now, is there something big about Kling that we could talk about that could, I don't know, maybe help get people to get into this book? I don't know, because I'm like,
yeah, man, trust me, dude. I appreciate that, but right now, I'll tell you what. If we're gonna talk about anything, let's talk about the next Bad Games book.
Okay.
Because
yes,
what's going on with
that? As much as I love it, it's just I can't give the damn thing away, and I've tried every trick I know, and like I said, I'm hoping one day it gets, I don't know, the right person happens upon it, but until then, let's just focus on my next release.
All right, let's do that. What's going on with that book?
It is probably the last. I mean, I would say assuredly the last Bad Games titled book. There may be in the future a spin-off. I've always actually wanted to do like a crossover book with a lot of my books, like a Wildlife, Bad Games, Numb kind of crossover kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure how I would pull that off. Maybe, but in this last Bad Games, it's time to like. It's going to be hard for me to say this without giving spoilers. As much as people seem to enjoy it, as much as I enjoy writing it, it's time to put it to bed, because how much more can happen to this poor fucking family,
Yeah.
And
right.
It's like, and I even poke fun at myself. I even make a comment on it in the book, basically, where the person says, like, it's becoming comical how much bad shit happens to you, But at the same time, if you look at like the Die Hard films, I mean, they're so much fun and they're awesome. How much stuff could happen to poor John McClane, but do we really care? We're still gonna plunk down our $10 and go have fun,
Yeah.
So, right. So this one takes place 10 years after, or 10 years after the first one. I'm sorry, the fourth one. And it centers a lot around the children. They're grown up, and most in particular the little boy Caleb. And what I really wanted to focus on in this one was basically driving home the point I just made. This family has been through hell through 4 books, and everyone wants the happy ending. And I thought, no, I need to make this family exceptionally dysfunctional and fucked up. Mm-hmm. Like I can't make it like this Brady Bunch type of ending or book where they're all happy and living these very functional lives after what they've been through. So I wanted them all to be going through their own private hells, Caleb especially. So it focuses a lot on Caleb, who's now grown up. He's 19, and he's going through like I said, I don't want to spoil it, but he's going through some seriously dark shit.
Yeah.
And he's struggling big time, and the sister, his older sister Carrie, she's flunking out of college, and she's drinking too much and partying. And Amy, mother, she's kind of gained this notoriety and put out a few books, and stardom is going to her head, and as a result, and it is just they're having but the whole point of that was to have this family very dysfunctional, and not all the cylinders weren't firing, but then finally having to come together at the end to defeat a common enemy. And let's just say, even though I don't want to give spoilers, but
yeah,
the villains from the first one, from Bad Games 1 and to an extent 2, Artie and Jim, they are back in this one.
Okay.
And
ooh.
people say, well, how's that possible? And it's no ghosts, no nothing like that, but I don't want to ruin the surprise, but you will see, or you will read about them again. So.
Very interesting, very exciting.
Oh,
now, I need to finish Bad Games. I need to buy Bad Games and read Bad Games. Like I said, I just read like the preview.
Right.
Man, but it was pretty good. I like the. I'm not gonna trust a white Pontiac like ever again. I don't think.
Or something else. Pay gas at a station, just tell them to go fuck off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's this one does, and again, I really wanted this one to come full circle as well, and it will once you you'll know what I mean when you read it. Like I said, it's very hard to talk about and not give spoilers away, but it does come full circle to an extent. However, it does. I want to say the primary story is about the son Caleb, the little boy, who was only 4 in the first Bad Games book, and this kid goes through absolute. What he's going through now is worthy of. If I ever did a spin-off of any sort, it might involve his plight. I don't know. We'll
Interesting.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, now, did you have a reading that you wanted to do?
Yeah, we have time for that.
Oh shit.
You don't have to, but you could.
I can maybe give you a couple paragraphs.
Sure.
It's tough because I still haven't had my main editor go with it. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a scene with Caleb. How about a scene?
Okay.
Let me see. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Now I don't hear anything. Hello?
Yeah, me neither.
Was it? Did we lose him? Oh man, what? Does he know we lost him?
I don't know.
Is he grabbing his book? What's going on here?
I don't know.
I don't know either. No one knows. Who knows what the answer is? What do you think? Is he on? Did he mute himself? He's not mute. Did he muzzle himself? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get in character. What's going on with Caleb? Wait, was it him?
Oh.
His words are so secret, he's being redacted. That's right. He's being redacted. He has confidential files.
You're a mess.
Are you there?
Okay, now
Yes,
you're coming through.
now we can hear
you're coming
you.
through the vortex.
You got me? Okay. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
It's okay.
About that.
Ever
It's
since
okay.
I did the conspiracy issue anthology, the government has been hacking. The globalists, okay, the evil globalist elite have been hacking
You're a mess.
everything.
I tend to agree with you on that. Okay. You still with me?
Yeah. I'm saying.
Basically, all right. Caleb was in the Marine Corps. His idol from Book 4, Domino, was a Marine.
Okay. Then.
Uh-oh.
Man, what is happening? What's happening here? Oh my God! Please, you evil lizard people, leave my stream alone.
Ah, God damn it!
It's
That'd
not.
shit me.
Maybe I need to be praying to God. Here, I'll tell you what. I'll enhance our stream by praying to baby Jesus. Here, hold on.
Are you there?
Oh, Marlo.
I'm
Yeah,
here,
we
I'm
can
here.
hear you now.
I'm gonna put on my chip sunglasses and pray to baby Jesus. That's what I'm doing right now. It's like,
I don't know what's going on here. Can you hear me?
yeah, I
Yes,
can hear
sir.
All right. What was the last thing you heard me say?
you. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Please, baby Jesus, please bless this.
Okay. Basically, long story short, Caleb had to leave the Marines. He got kicked out for basically beating the shit out of a couple of his barracks mates, and he's got rage problems. Do me a favor, after every few minutes or after every 10 seconds,
I'm hearing you.
let me know you're hearing me. So
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah. So he's home now and
right.
depressed as hell and living in Amy's basement.
Okay.
So let's see. Amy just got off the phone with her daughter who's at school in the middle of the day, and she's clearly drunk and high. So Amy hung up. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yes.
Chapter 6, Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Amy hung up and stood silent and unblinking in the kitchen. The phrase casualties of war kept repeating in her head.
Okay.
Casualties of war, all of them, every damn one.
All right.
And Father Time had not been their ally. No, he was proving to be a vindictive son of a bitch.
Hmm.
The wounds of the past not scarring over as Amy had hoped, but ebbing their way towards infection. Towards infection, no matter how much treatment they continually threw at it. And the treatment they threw. Perhaps the only thing the Lambert family hadn't tried yet was electric shock therapy. Hey, Alan Brown, Amy's partner for the past 8 years, their relationship forged from the hellfire they both endured at the hands of serial killer Kelly Blaine, stood behind Amy, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. Amy blinked it all away and faced Alan. Hey, you okay? You hear all that? She asked. I wasn't listening. Liar. Okay, I heard it. She was high as a kite. Drunk too, I think. It is college, Amy. Amy shot him a look and walked away. Went to the tea kettle and filled it in the sink. I'm not justifying her behavior or anything, Alan said. Amy set the kettle on the burner, a little harder than necessary. She spoke while pulling a mug and a box of tea from the cupboard. Really? Sure sounds like you are. He held up his hand. I'm not, honey, I'm not. I'm just saying, so by your logic, Jamie and Janita are getting wasted in Rhode Island right this minute, and that's okay. Daddy's cool with it. He splayed a hand. Are my girls experimenting? Probably. And yeah, I am cool with it. Isn't that the whole point of the college experience? Amy dropped the tea bag into her mug and put the box away. Your girls get good grades. They're on the dean's list. They could be doing fucking heroin and spreading their legs for every frat boy who comes calling, and it wouldn't matter. Whoa, who said anything about spreading their... My stellar child managed a 0.7 grade average her first time around. If it wasn't for Avery Reynolds and his sympathy for Pennsylvania's own Adams family, she'd be sleeping in our fucking basement right now, ditching class at community college instead of getting a second chance. A second chance that she seems keen on fucking up all over again. Whoa. Don't say that. Am I wrong? Don't say Pennsylvania's Adams family. The kettle whistled as though underlying her contempt. Sorry, you prefer the Munsters? She poured her tea.
Who prefers the Munsters? Sorry.
Exact. No, I agree. Would you stop? What? It's true, isn't it? Our history, and now your history, welcome aboard, by the way, is hardly a secret to anyone. A deep voice in the kitchen doorway. Don't seem to mind profiting from it, though, do you? Amy and Alan spun Caleb's way. He stood unkempt, t-shirt and sweatpants. 2 inches shy of his father's 6'3", Caleb still inherited Patrick's broad shoulders. His dark eyes were another dead match for his father's, with the notable exception that Amy always recalled her husband's filling any room he entered with light. She could not, in all honesty, recall a time in the past decade that Caleb had projected anything but darkness. Today was no exception. Hi, sweetheart, Amy said. She put on a big fake smile as though the conversation she and Alan had been having, the one she knew Caleb had overheard, hadn't occurred. It felt sad and wrong, yet for Amy, Lambert, codependency for her kids these past 10 years, had joined taxes and death. No escape. Can I get you anything? Don't seem to mind profiting from it, though, do you? Caleb said again. Codependency had numerous detours at its disposal when brutal honesty threatened. One of the more traveled routes being the ever-popular don't make waves lest we rock the unstable boat detour. The 2008 version of Amy Lambert, the one who had yet to encounter Artie and Jim Finelli in the multitude of hell that followed, would have flared her nostrils in disgust at such behavior. A straight shooter from birth, Amy was now learning the myriad ways that grief remolded one's personality out of what felt like survival, but in her private moments had to confess was nothing but good old fear. Honey, let's not get into this right now, she said, the detour sounding cheap to her own ears for the split second before it was stuffed down to join the growing pile of suppression that only knew freedom in her dreams. Check. Nightmares. How about a nice cup of tea? I'll take whiskey if you've got it. Amy and Alan exchanged a look. Caleb being under the legal age to consume alcohol, clearly not the cause of their shared concern. It was the apparent want for it upon waking. Kind of early for whiskey, isn't it, champ? Alan said. Says who, champ? Caleb replied flatly. Alan's blatant try of camaraderie, a big swing and a miss. How about some coffee instead, honey? Amy asked. Fine. Caleb walked in the kitchen, took a seat at the table. Amy looked at Alan, then gestured towards the coffee maker. He nodded back and began making a pot. Sleep okay? She asked her son, standing over him and rubbing a gentle hand over his short dark hair. He pulled away from her hand. So you're not going to answer my question? Amy took her time retrieving her tea from the counter before taking a seat across from Caleb. All of it seemingly innocuous, yet the brief delay a calculated act to prepare. She wondered if the detours she'd become so fond of in recent years would demand a direct route, now faced with the brooding young man seated across from her that still resembled her baby boy in appearance only. As for what stirred underneath that shell was anyone's guess, including his own mother's. That knowledge pierced her heart. You want to know why I did what I did, she told, not asked Caleb. The talk shows, the lectures, the novelization rights to our story. You did it for the money, he replied point blank. What I want to know is why you act as though it's some kind of burden. You open yourself up to the world, you can't expect anonymity. I opened myself up, me, not you and your sister. You two are always off limits. Right, and your stipulations kept them all at bay. Christ, Mom, the media practically walked Carrie and I home from the bus every day. Amy looked away. In time, people would have forgotten about us, Caleb said. No one ever remembers the victims, just the killers. Want me to stop there?
Oh, no, this is good.
I don't want you to stop it all.
This is good. Man, okay, so you got silent because we were just listening.
I'm almost done this scene. I got a paragraph.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In time, people would have forgotten about us, Caleb said. No one ever remembers the victims, just the killers, except we weren't victims. Oh, no? Dad's going to be pretty pissed off about being in a coffin all this time. Amy frowned. Cheap shot, Caleb. You left the net wide open, Mom. The doorbell rang. I'll get that, Alan said quickly, hurrying to the door. Amy sipped her tea, swallowing heartache and frustration along with it. Caleb stood and went to check on the coffee Alan had been making. From the kitchen, Alan could be heard answering the door, greeting what turned out to be a solicitor. Alan then politely refusing, the solicitor not taking no for an answer. Alan growing increasingly frustrated, the solicitor growing increasingly rude. Caleb left the kitchen and started for the front door. Amy kicked back her chair and hurried after her son, just in time to see Caleb with a hand around the solicitor's neck, running him backwards across their front lawn, flipping the legs out from beneath him, the solicitor landing hard on his back. Caleb's vice grip on the solicitor's neck staying put, and then Caleb not pummeling the solicitor with his free hand, as one might assume was to follow, but instead snatching the dangling laminated badge that hung from the solicitor's neck, the badge that the solicitor had smarmily informed Alan that he had a legal right to be at their door, ripping that badge free and then jamming it into the solicitor's mouth, insisting both physically and verbally that the solicitor eat the fucking thing. Both Alan and Amy finally managed to pull Caleb off, the solicitor scrambling to his feet seconds after, taking off down the street, only to return a short time later with the police. Caleb was taken away in handcuffs, appeasing the morbid curiosity of the increasing crowd in the neighborhood. So there you go.
Man, that's pretty good. Pretty intense stuff.
Yeah, so Caleb lost his cool and beat the shit out of a solicitor.
Yeah.
How long do I have to wait before this is going to be out?
Probably another month. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Well, thank you so much for sharing it.
Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
No,
that's awesome.
I should have picked one. Well, that one's, it was fun. You mentioned it earlier, and I thought, oh shit, how am I going to do a reading without giving anything away? But,
that's good stuff, though. I think.
Yeah, that was enough. We all knew Caleb was going to have his problems.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. How could he not? I mean,
exactly.
After all we've been through.
Plus, people forget in the fourth book, Caleb beat a guy to death with a baseball bat. And he was only 9. So,
right.
That kind of stays with you.
Well, you survive all these games.
I kind of think so.
Yeah, you survive these games, you're gonna be messed up in the head. That's
it's funny you say that, man. That's the one thing I really tried to emphasize. Like, sorry, no happy ending here. This is gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
So.
Now the one thing,
and it was
and
too.
Someone even mentioned in the chat was, I don't know if there's anything we could do about it, but the solicitor, the word solicitor, I know that's something during I guess the editing phase would probably change some. I don't know what you do with that because it is a lot of solicitor, but it's like, what else are you gonna do? What else?
It could be this. I have to leave that to my editor. And again, I'm not the best reader when it comes to that stuff, so I might have been tripping over my S's. But a lot of times when you have multiple characters, you have to be careful with common noun. You need to. It's very easy to get into he, him, he,
and you lose who the he is, right?
Right. Sometimes it's necessary. Yeah, sometimes it might say, well, you just said solicitor 3 times in the same sentence, but if I was to say he grabbed him by the neck and then grabbed him and him, you're saying, well, who grabbed? Is it Caleb who did this? Is it? So there's a difference between. I don't know if you would call it a proper noun, but you have to be. But that that person, like I said, that it's only been revised once, and like I said, once my editor gets a hold of it, I'm sure she'll.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, she'll probably trim a few there. So, and like I said, I'm not the best public reader. You'll have to wait till my Gary Tiedemann.
But regardless, what Caleb was doing to the solicitor was intense. Good stuff. The dialogue in the the little kitchen place that they're at, that was good stuff. Very cool. Definitely enjoyed it.
Thank you.
The last question I usually leave with is, what is your favorite horror movie?
I know the answer to this.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the greatest film ever.
Mine too.
Oh God,
it's good. It's good.
I have a tradition every year on August 18th, starting at noon. I get copious amounts of horrible food and booze, and I watch it on a continuous loop until I pass out.
It sounds like a Friday night for me. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
And then you pay for it the next day.
Oh, I do. Oh, God, yeah.
I know.
I do. No,
I remember reading those posts.
Oh yeah, it's Chainsaw is no question about it my favorite horror film ever.
It's definitely classic. It's a good one.
I like the second one and even the third one. The rest after that all sucked, and the remake sucked.
Yeah.
Didn't suck. I just wasn't a fan.
Well, the remake doesn't have the found footage feel to it. I mean, the original looked like it was a documentary. The way they shot it.
It had a grainy quality to it because it was low budget, but the remake was all. I mean, I like their take, trying to make a different take on it, but it just they lost.
It just didn't have the same feel.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I agree. It felt very manufactured and plastic. I didn't like that at all. Well,
it
Jeff,
was nice looking at that feel. But,
Jeff, Menapace.
Yes, sir.
It was great having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about your books, talk about how you started writing and how it's working for you, especially going into detail on how, that you are making a living on your work. You didn't have to, but you did. And I think that helps bring home a point to those naysayers out there that think it can't happen. There's some people out there that are so disillusioned, they think it can never happen for them. But
just got to keep trying, man. Like who was it who said never, ever, ever, ever? Was that Churchill? Shit, you have to remember it's past midnight here. I'm getting a little punchy, so I'm sorry. Was it Churchill? Never, ever, ever, ever give up, or something like that?
I'm not exactly sure, but that's all right. That's all right. But yeah, never give up. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. Look at that.
Yeah, if you want it bad enough. You want it bad enough, keep working at it,
That's right. And ladies, gentlemen, if you made it this far, press that like button, subscribe, share the stream for people who like writing, horror. It just really was a good conversation all around. It was good stuff. Y'all take it easy.